Hello everyone, welcome to this Facebook Live. I am Bess McCarty, today coming to you from San Diego. It is so pretty here, it's a real sunny day. I love all the palm trees and everything around here. This is the Ask Bess show. Welcome to this show. This is a show here, a Facebook Live every Saturday and Sunday at noon Eastern Time, where you can come and ask questions about anything, whether it be business, career, job, network marketing, relationships, communication, health, weight loss, or even spiritual fulfillment. I have been a coach and a counselor, body mind therapist, and a holistic health practitioner, helping people with life skills and to break through to their happiness for over 30 years now. So this is my calling. This is what I love to do. The last 10 years, my niche has been network marketing, and now they call me the shrink of MLM because I help people make breakthroughs in their business too. Welcome, Luya. Glad to see ya. If you're watching the replay, how are you today, Luya? How is South Africa? What's the weather like down there today? Anyway, glad to have you. And whoever's watching the replay, please type in replay because I would like to thank you for watching. And love to also hear where you're from. It's a kind of a nice fall day here in San Diego, but I know in other parts of the world it's just the opposite. It might be summer, it might be hot there. So this show is where you can ask these questions of a counselor, a professional coach, experienced, who's done a lot of her own personal growth work, and you should always choose someone who's done that. My message to you is you matter. I hear you. I know that we all go through things, but I hear you, I'll respond, and you don't have to do this alone. I'll help. Every problem that's before you, you're bigger than that problem. You can become a master problem solver, and I can assist with my process real conversations, which I've taught for 20 years. It helps people move from problem to solution really, really fast in 4 simple steps. And I will share that in a little bit after we cover the topic for today. So right now, I want to invite people on. And I'm going to invite Jerry and Sherry and Jeff, Shamala, David, Brandy, Nancy, and Jim and Jerry. And also want to acknowledge the people who are on here who do their personal growth work. That's not easy to do. And it means facing ourselves. So if you're watching this show, I think you're one of the 5% of people who are doing personal growth work nowadays. Not everyone wants to do this. I have a friend who said one time, personal growth, I tried that one time. I didn't like it. And he was kidding because he's growing all the time. But I just thought that was probably expressing the general attitude, right? You know, that sounds like, a chore. It sounds like facing ourselves. It sounds like doing some inner work. And I'd rather play. I'd rather take the easier route. But guess what? Personal growth is the easier route because that in the long run is easier. In the short run, no. In the short run, we can do easy things that, let's see, I'm just inviting Janice, Sean, Jared, Maria, Dana, Iman, Carrie. So in the short run, we can do things that feel better than facing ourselves and being honest with ourselves. We can watch TV, we can drink a beer, we can get distracted on social media. We can do a lot of things instead of our personal growth work. But I happen to love it because it is about me. It is a story of my life and my feelings and my needs. And I think that's pretty wonderful to be able to appreciate and explore and to upgrade. So that's what this show is about, upgrading our selves, our mindset, trading what doesn't work for what does. And okay, we'll go back to the topic today here. Had to hold the phone a certain way to be able to use both hands to invite people here. So Dreams. That is the promised topic for today, is dreams. Do you remember your dreams? If you do, please type in yes, because I want to acknowledge you for that. Hello, Andrea. Welcome. Glad to see you. So we're talking about dreams. Do you remember dreams? And why remember dreams? And if you do, how do you understand them, or what do you do with them? So I'd like to share with you a story that of a dream that I had that was like one of my most profound dreams. I've had a lot, and I like to write them down because then I remember them. Then I can go back and reflect later and say, wow, this was a premonition of what was to come in my life, or this gave me good advice in this case, or this was an example. It helped me to know exactly how I felt about something. So dreams can give us insight and wisdom and understanding and clarity and inner guidance and even information that we didn't have before. Some people get answers in their dreams or guidance. Like one lady, or one fellow needed some money. He needed like about, if I remember right, about $2,000, and he wasn't sure how he was going to get this money. He needed about that much for a certain reason. And that night, or at night, he had a dream where his grandmother came to him and opened up a newspaper ad, and it showed a Lamborghini, I think a motorcycle, and he wondered in the morning, well, what was that dream about? He had one sitting in his garage, and an old one sitting in his garage, and he happened to mention that the next day to a friend, and the friend said, wow, that thing's worth, it's an old one. He said, that thing's worth about $2,000. So the guy connected his dream. His grandmother was trying to help him to connect to, the wisdom of mentioning it perhaps to this friend, who then told him how he could get the money. So it can give us help, from our higher self, from our higher power, or whatever we call that oversoul of our consciousness, whatever we call that, can actually assist and aid and teach us. And I had a dream one time that followed a real life outer world experience. I was going to a Thanksgiving dinner to a friend's house. It was a gathering. It was a big potluck, and I was going up this kind of steep, curvy, hilly roads. And at one point, there was a lot of cars there, and we kind of had to park back a little ways from the house. So I parked my car there, and pretty soon I saw a tow truck come up who was called to help pull up a car who had gone over the edge of the embankment of this hilly road. Welcome, Thomas. How are you? I'm sharing a dream right now that I had that was really, it meant a lot to me. So but this is still the waking part. This still the actual life experience that I had first before I had the dream that night. So we stood there and we watched how this tow truck came, and a car had gone over the edge, was kind of hanging over the edge there. It was kind of steep down below, but some brush or some trees stopped it. So this tow truck came and pulled it back onto the road and finally got it up. But you could see the tracks where the car had gone off the edge and over the side and hung there. And that night, it was very interesting, but that night I had a dream that I was on that same road driving up there in my car, and as I was driving by that same scene, I remembered I remembered where the car had gone off and that there were tracks there. And I was just looking out my left driver's window, at the tracks where the car had gone off, and say, that's, I see the tracks where the car going off the road. And all of a sudden, I missed my turn up ahead. I was going at a good speed, and it was like, in my dream, it was like a highway. And because I was looking at the tracks, I missed curving around to the left, or missed curving around the mountain, because my eyes were on the tracks instead of on the road ahead of me. And so what happened was I shot off into space. Instead of making the curve, my car went off into space, and it was a huge, huge drop down. In my dream, it was like many, many stories down, and I knew that I was going to die. But the worst part was that I had my little infant son in his car seat behind me in the dream. and my son had grown by that time, but in the dream, he was still an infant, and he was in the back seat in the car. And so as we went over the cliff, I thought, okay, this is the end of my life. But the worst thing is that I'm taking my son with me. Due to my mistake of looking where somebody else got off, due to not keeping my eyes on the road and looking. So my message in that dream, when I woke up, I realized that the message was, do not look at where other people get off track. Do not look at other people's mistakes, because when I do, then it will be a cost to me. In other words, do not judge people, and do not look at others' mistakes so that it detracts from my own navigation. Because in that dream, I paid the price, and even, many times worse, my son paid the price with me. So that is an example of how a dream can give us insight or give us good advice. So I've remembered that ever since, and I've had a bunch of dreams like that. What I do is I like to write them down so that later I can understand them or contemplate them, or take them into contemplation and understand them. Maybe the understanding will come right away like it did with this one, or maybe it might come later down the road. And that's why I love to keep a dream journal. I've been doing this for about 40 years now. So how do we remember our dreams? If y'all dream or remember your dreams, please type in yes, because I'd like to hear how many people do. And if you have ever gotten insight or help from a dream, please type in yes, because I'd like to hear about that. If you have a story that you can share with us about a dream that you had, or how a dream helped you, please type that in. Now, how do we? I'm going to talk a little bit about how we remember dreams, and then how we can understand dreams before I go into the real conversations example today, or lesson for today. So, good ways to remember dreams. I find that if I go to bed and give my subconscious the command, I will remember my dreams. And sometimes I ask for a specific dream, like, oh, may I have a dream? I would like to have a dream about this problem or situation that I'm going through. Or I miss this person, or I miss my mother who passed away a number of years ago. Could I have a dream with you, Mom? And or my little doggy who passed away too. Or people that I'm in relationship now and maybe that I miss, or I'd like to work something out with them. Can I have a dream with you? And many times I do. Sometimes right away, and sometimes later, or sometimes I don't. But I find that giving myself the subconscious command or intent often affects my dreams, and often I will have the dream that I asked for. So holding that intent, and then have some recording device nearby, like it could be a pen and paper, to when you wake up, that you can write down your dreams right away. And by the way, when I wake up, I do not jump right out of bed and bingo, or grab my phone or something like that. I lay there for a few minutes and say, now, where was I just now? What was I just doing? Who was I with? What feeling am I left with right now? And so remembering those things, even the feeling that I have right now, could help me remember where I was just before I opened my eyes, or before I was aware of this world. So sometimes I'm with people that I know, and sometimes I'm with, like in classes or schools, where sometimes I'm teaching, sometimes I'm learning. But a lot of them my dreams have to do with universities, or going to school. And so I like that a lot, because I think this earth is like a school. So I write down whatever I remember. Now, some people, if they wake up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom or get a drink of water, or for whatever reason, there might be a dream right there. So it's good to be able to catch your dream. Some people like to keep their phone nearby, and they can turn that on and record their dream into the phone, or even tell it to their mate, or keep a pen and paper by the phone, even in the dark. Some people, if they don't want to wake their mate, they might have a lighted pen or a low light, but I've learned to write in the dark just because I avoid turning on the light and waking up too much. But sometimes we got to catch it right then, because we think, oh, I'll remember that in the morning, and we don't. And it could have been something important, something really cool. So writing dreams down, having a recording device or speaking into your phone. Here's how to develop better dream recall. Look at a painting, look at a photograph, let's say, or a landscape. Anyway, look at a photograph of anything for about 1 minute, and then turn away and then draw that thing. That helps you to observe the details and be more aware of what you see and have greater recall of what you just saw. So that's a way to have visual recall. And another cool recall trick is to remember your day backwards. In other words, see if when you go to bed, just lay there for a few minutes, especially if you're not sleepy, and then recall the last thing you did. Maybe it was turn off the light. Before that, last thing you did was pull up the covers. Before that, it was get under the covers. Before that, kick off your slippers and lay down. So you walk your day backwards, and helps you develop the recall and awareness of the details of your day, and that helps to increase dream awareness. So I hope that these help. Now, how to understand your dreams. I learned from my spiritual teacher in Eckankar that dream interpretation books don't necessarily give us the right interpretation for our own dream symbols. That I might have my own dream symbols for water, for flying, or for a mountain, or something like that, and that if I keep a dream journal, write down what I remember, and then write down what the meaning of that was. Or for me, water might be a symbol of spirituality or of my emotions. If I'm swimming in an ocean, it could be the spiritual connection in ocean, spiritual waters. Welcome, Nancy. How are you today? Happy Thanksgiving weekend to everybody. Those people still celebrating. Hope you've had a good time with your families and wonderful heart connections. You deserve that. So thank you for being here. Thank you for joining in, Nancy and Luya and Thomas and Andrea and Luya. So talking about dreams, I just shared a dream. So I just shared some techniques about how to remember dreams, and then shared a technique about understanding dreams. Sometimes I just take a dream into contemplation, and the understanding or the meaning will come to me then, or perhaps later, when I'm taking a walk or doing dishes, something else, that maybe it'll just float in, and then I'll understand, oh, that was a direction, a guide for my life. Because I can get inner guidance, I can get advice, knowledge, information, even fun. Sometimes I just need to have fun in a dream, and I take a little vacation in a dream, and it's really cool. Or go on a scuba diving adventure, or mountain climbing, or something like that. And sometimes it's having really warm connection with friends that I miss. So thank you, Nancy. I am in heaven. I am a new grandma, and that's how I spent Thanksgiving and my birthdays, with my new granddaughter here in San Diego. And I was just showing people some palm trees, and it's pretty sunny and wonderful. Even in November in San Diego, it's like 60 degrees here. So pretty wonderful. How are you, Nancy? So that's how to remember and understand our dreams. I hope that this gave you a few tips. Thank you for the likes and loves. If you all are getting some benefit, I'd love to hear a takeaway, something that you got today that you can use, of how to perhaps remember or understand your dreams, how to use them to better your life, to give you some guidance for your life. And I love if you know people that could use this information, to tag them here or share in another Facebook group, that other people can be watching this live at the same time. Thank you very much for all of this. So I promised also to share with you the real conversations process that I teach, how to get from problem to solution real quick in 4 simple steps. And that is, first we recognize the problem, then the emotion under that, and then the need under that, and then we solve that need. Because every problem is really the sign of an unmet need. So how do you know what these needs are? They can be physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. And I actually made a chart of needs, of problems that people have, of emotions that they might experience because of that, and the unmet needs that they can look and search and see what they are. Unmet needs could be physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual. And I made this chart so you can look through it and say, well, I'm having a problem. What am I needing here? Am I needing skills? Am I needing validation? Am I needing support? Am I needing permission to say no, or permission to succeed? And just what am I needing? Am I needing to clear my fears, to clear my negative beliefs, to replace those, to upgrade those to something more true? And then we find a way to meet those needs. And this is what I teach in my process called Real Conversations with Ourselves. And I offer this as free tools. If you want to learn this process and the self-help coaching process for yourself, I actually am giving away $250 worth of free tools about Real Conversations at the Facebook event, Real Conversations class. And you go there and it's passed, but you can find the a link to the free tools that I mentioned. Comes with an audio, which is a radio interview, a chart leading you through the 4 steps, and some email lessons helping you to journal yourself through those 4 steps then. I also have a class because some people want more help than that, and they call me for private coaching. So I'm glad to do that, help people with health, wealth, and love, with relationships, with business. And some people want help, but not a private coaching necessarily. So I created a class on Tuesday nights called Real Conversations Class. This is every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and you can hop on. It can be anonymous if you wish. It's not recorded for privacy. You can get coached right there, or you can learn as other people get coached through the issues that they're going through. So I'd love to have you. You're invited. That link is at the same place for the class or the free tools. And that is at Facebook event, Real Conversations Class. I'm glad to have you. Hope you check it out and get your free tools and begin to use this in your life. And Nancy says that one of my dreams has come true, to have a new baby in my life again, and we'll be babysitting this week. So yes, thank you for reminding me that I can announce that you also have a new baby. And so you can find pictures on Nancy Siegel's page. And also it was a dream of mine. So I didn't know that it would necessarily happen, and it has, and I'm very grateful to have a new baby, a new beginning, a new life, a precious one that reminds me of the preciousness of every single one of us, and my gratitude for life. So thank you, Nancy. Her dream has come true, and mine too. We're grandmas together. Thank you for joining us and saying hi and sharing that. So I will post the link so that you can get the free tools and the class. Thank you for joining. I am here, Bess McCarty, coach for business and life, also called the Shrink of MLM. I'm here every Saturday and Sunday at noon Eastern Time for the Ask Bess show. Remember that you can private message me a question, and I will respond to it here on the show. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next Saturday. Yes, best thing. Thank you, Nancy. Love to you all. Happy Sunday. Bye-bye.